There are many ways people of the new age keep themselves busy in their downtime. From movies to sports, entertainment is a huge part of everyday life. Video games are a part of everyday entertainment. To many people, video games are their main entertainment choice. Some people are so passionate about video games that they even make it their job, like my little brother. Today, I will be talking about video games' brief history, a few things they use to create them and how those methods work, how video games can be important, and their future in society. First, a brief history of video games. The first video game was called Tennis for Two, made in 1958 by physicist William Higinbotham, which was a 2D tennis court and an oscilloscope screen. Higinbotham created Tennis for Two so it would liven up Brookhaven Labs, his place of employment. The first arcade game was Pong, which was a ping pong game made in 1972 by Atari. The same year, Sanders Associates Inc. released the first home console called Odyssey, which is the start of what is known to be a very big entertainment outlet in today's world. Then came what was called the game crash in 1983. This was caused by many things, like an oversaturated console market and competition from computer game companies. The crash caused many home game companies and console companies to go bankrupt. The game crash started to recover in 1985 because Nintendo came to the US from Japan, bringing with it overall better gaming experiences. Over time, gaming consoles, including computers, advanced, from the Wii in 2006 that failed miserably to the PS5 that is almost impossible to get at this point. Gaming has improved and refined itself out of a niche concept to practically mainstream content. With consoles being in nearly every home, video games have become just as common as television. So how are video games made? There are many things that go into making video games. The two most interesting, in my opinion, are motion capture and Unreal Engine. Motion capture, or performance capture, is a way to capture movement into a digital model. It does this by using cameras and markers, which are little dots, to log the movement of an actor down to even a slight muscle movement. A few games that use motion capture are The Last of Us Part 2 and Detroit Becoming Human. The Unreal Engine was developed by Epic Games and is a 3D graphics game engine used and utilized by many game developers to run their games. Game developers use the Unreal Engine to create real-time image processing, and today, developers are using Unreal Engine to create worlds and AI that act and look real, like Epic Games' city sample of The Matrix Awakens. There are many things that go into making video games. The two most interesting, in my opinion, are the motion capture and the Unreal Engine. Motion capture, or performance capture, is a way to capture movement into a digital model. It does this by using cameras and markers, which are little dots, to log the movement of an actor down to even a slight muscle movement. A few games that use motion capture are The Last of Us Part 2 and Detroit Becoming Human. The Unreal Engine was developed by Epic Games and is a 3D graphics game engine used and utilized by many game developers to run their games. Game developers use the Unreal Engine to create real-time image processing, and today, developers are using Unreal Engine to create worlds and AI that act and look real, like Epic Games' city sample of The Matrix Awakens. Next, we will talk about the importance of video games. There are many ways that video games can be important. One way that video games are important is that they are a good way to spend time with and connect to family. One game made exactly for this is one called It Takes Two, a game where you have to work together with one other person to better the relationship of the two main characters in the game so they can get back home to their daughter. It Takes Two was built for couples to strengthen their relationship together in a fun way. Another way video games are important is that they encourage better cognitive health. One video game made for this reason is Portal 2, made in 2011. Researchers at Florida State University have come to the conclusion that Portal 2 has a better percentage of increasing cognitive health than Lumosity, a game built by psychologists to strengthen the mind. Video games are also utilized by the military. The Air Force have been using special video games to run training simulations using VR headsets, resulting in better field knowledge and increased problem-solving skills in high-tense situations. Now I will talk about the future of video games. In a technology-increasing world, entertainment must change too. 50 years ago, we had the very first video game. Since then, we have advanced them so far as almost fully immersing ourselves in those imaginary worlds. I believe that the video game industry will continue to grow and advance, achieving complete immersion with games indistinguishable from our own world and AI that act like real people. Schools around the world have been developing video games to teach children. Militaries use them to train recruits in combat situations. Video games will become a part of our everyday lives, and it's only a matter of time. It's time for this to come to a close, finally. Video games have become a daily factor in most of our lives, one way or another. From developers who create them, to militaries using them to create safer soldiers, video games are an important part of our daily lives. We use them to strengthen our bonds and our minds, to teleport us to different worlds and live lives that we normally can't. But most importantly, we use them so we don't have time to think about our inevitable mortality. So, let's keep our brain busy and be a cat that wants to buy a soda. Go see for yourself what video games can offer.